It's September 17th, 2013. Notice of this meeting stating the date, place, and time has been disseminated as required under the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Clerk, please conduct the flag and prayer, and I'd ask everybody to pause for a moment of silence for the tragedy at the Washington, D.C. Navy Yard.
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. In the event of emergency, the proper method for exiting the council and chamber is through the three rear doors. Occupants should proceed down the staircase out the front door and move away from the area of the front steps. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment session at the end of the meeting, please sign in the white sheets provided in front of the room. Please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate. If you must take a call, please leave the council chambers to do so. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Colobus.
Here.
Koziel. Here. Brown.
Here.
Armstead.
Here.
Cosby Hurling.
Here.
Sadowski.
Here.
Sheehy.
Here.
Yamakaitis.
Here.
Medina.
Here.
Kaczynski.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here. Mr. Kaczynski's here with us electronically. We have some presentations this evening, and I'd like to ask Linden Marshall, Chris Lukenda, and Ms. Polana, Colleen Michelle D'Amico, and excuse me if I slaughter your name, and Julia Warza to please come forward, and Ms. Keppa for presentation, please. And Sue Lukenda. And Lisa De Silva.
Mr. President, Chris Lukenda, the marshal for this year, is unavailable this evening. He's attending the FMBA convention, but his wife is here and is
Thank you
pleased
for
to
coming,
accept
Sue.
the resolution.
Every year, St. Teresa's Church and the General Pulaski Memorial Day Parade Committee pick a Miss Polonia, a junior Miss Polonia, and a Grand Marshal of the Pulaski Day Parade, which marches down Fifth Avenue in New York City. And every year, I look forward to that day because Linden, under Father Kroll of St. Teresa's Church, fields one of the largest contingents for the Pulaski Day Parade. And I'm proud to march down Fifth Avenue with the St. Teresa's contingent. And this year it's going to be October 6th, and we are recognizing two Miss Polonias and a junior Miss Polonia and the Grand Marshal, Christopher Lukenda. Christopher's down, as Councilwoman Yamakaitis stated, at the convention. He's running for state president of the FMBA. So hopefully he's going to win and honor Linden further by representing the entire state of New Jersey and the firefighters. With that, I would like to read a resolution honoring Chris and present it to his wife, Sue. Whereas Chris Lukenda has been selected to serve as the 2013 Marshal of the Linden Pulaski Day Parade Committee and will represent thousands of Linden residents of Polish descent at the 76th Annual Pulaski Day Parade in New York City on Sunday, October 6, 2013. And whereas Chris Lukenda is the son of the late Walter and Laura Lukenda and is a lifelong Linden resident who is extremely proud of his long association with St. Teresa's, including being a graduate of St. Teresa's School, Grammar School. Whereas Chris Lukenda went on to graduate Roselle Catholic High School and attended Union County College. Whereas Chris Lukenda is a firefighter, emergency medical technician with the Linden Fire Department for over 20 years and currently serves as president of Linden Fires Union, FMBA Local 34. Whereas Chris Lukenda also serves as secretary of the New Jersey State Mutual Benevolent Association, a position that he's held for 14 years. And whereas Chris Lukenda is married to Sue Prashek, I'm sorry I mispronounced it, and is a father to Samantha, Miss Polonia 2007, and Tiffany, Miss Polonia Jr. 2007. And whereas Chris Lukenda is proud of his Polish heritage, particularly during the holiday season, when he practices the traditions that were handed down to him from his parents and celebrate every year. Where it is proper and fitting that Chris Lukenda be recognized for the honor bestowed upon him to represent the City of Linden and its Pulaski Day Parade contingent. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the City of Linden that they do hereby congratulate Chris Lukenda on being selected as the 2013 Linden Pulaski Parade Marshal, and be it further resolved that this resolution be entered in the minutes of the Council of the City of Linden, and a copy hereof be presented to Chris Lukenda in recognition of the foregoing. Sue, again, on behalf of the City of Linden, we're proud to present this to your husband and wish him well in his election. There's some Polish names here, so we're going to be struggling.
So he handed it to me.
No, I got two better ones.
Okay. This is one of our Miss Polonias this year that we'd like to present this resolution to, Julia Daria Werzik. Whereas Julia Daria Werzik was recently crowned Linden Miss Polonia 2013 and will be representing the City of Linden at the annual Pulaski Day Parade in New York City on Sunday, October 6, 2013. Whereas Julia Warzik recently graduated Linden High School, was a member of the school's National Honor Society, and is attending Rider University, where she is studying public relations. Julia Daria Werzik is an avid reader who loves to write and has a passion for singing and playing the piano. And as a first-generation Polish American who is proud of her Polish heritage and enjoys celebrating her Polish traditions, and she is proud to represent the City of Linden and its many residents of Polish descent at the Pulaski Day Parade. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of Linden that they do hereby congratulate Julia Daria Werzik as being selected as 2013 Miss Polonia to represent the City of Linden at the Pulaski Parade, and that this resolution be entered into the minutes of the Council of the City of Linden, and a copy hereto be presented to Julia Daria Werzik in recognition of this prestigious honor.
Okay, I have the honor of reading another proclamation for Miss Polonia. Kellyanne Michelle Domenico was recently crowned Linden Miss Polonia 2013 and will be representing the City of Linden at the annual Pulaski Day Parade in New York City on Sunday, October 6, 2013. Whereas Kellyanne Michelle Domenico is currently a junior at William Patterson University, where she is a business major specializing in marketing and management. Whereas Kellyanne Michelle Domenico is an avid dancer with her favorite modes being jazz and tap. whereas Kellyanne Michelle Domenico shares her enthusiasm for dance by teaching it at the school she has attended since she was 4 years old. And whereas Michelle Domenico is the daughter of Ron and Michelle, 1986 Miss Polonia, and is the older sister of Alexia, 2012 Junior Miss Polonia. And whereas Kellyanne Michelle Domenico is particularly proud of her Polish heritage and the Polish traditions, especially celebrating Vigilia and Easter. And whereas Kellyanne Michelle Domenico is proud to represent the city of Linden and its many residents of Polish descent at the Pulaski Day Parade. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Linden that they do hereby congratulate Kellyanne Michelle Domenico being selected a 2013 Miss Polonia to represent the city of Linden at the Pulaski Day Parade. And be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into the minutes of council of the city of Linden and that a copy hereof be presented to Kellyanne Michelle Domenico in recognition of this prestigious honor. Signed, Mayor Rich Grabunka, Council President James Moore. Congratulations. There you go.
Okay, our junior miss was unavailable to come this evening, but I'll present it to the president of the Pulaski organization, Ms. Lisa De Silva. This resolution is for our little junior Miss Polonia, Carolina Keppa. Whereas Carolina Keppa was recently crowned Linden Junior Miss Polonia 2013 and will be representing the city of Linden at the annual Pulaski Day Parade in New York City on Sunday, October 6th, 2013, and is currently attending Seoul Middle School and is enrolled in the Gifted and Talented program. Carolina Keppa is fluent in English and Polish and also attends the Polish school in Elizabeth, where she studies the Polish language, culture, and history. And Carolina Keppa is an active member of St. Teresa's Parish, where she is part of Mężczyzki, a choir that also serves as a kindergarten monitor, and Carolina Keppa is proud to be Polish and is honored to be this year's Junior Miss Polonia. Whereas Carolina Keppa is proud to represent the city of Linden and its many residents of Polish descent at the Pulaski Day Parade. Now therefore be resolved by the mayor and council of the city of Linden that they do hereby congratulate Carolina Keppa on being selected as the 2013 Junior Miss Polonia to represent the city of Linden at the Pulaski Day Parade, and that this resolution be entered into the minutes of the council in the city of Linden, and that a copy hereto be presented to Carolina Keppa in recognition of this prestigious honor. So we're going to present this to our president, Lisa De Silva. I would just like to thank everyone from the city of Linden for supporting the Pulaski Day Parade and invite everyone to march down Fifth Avenue with us on October 6th. The buses will be leaving St. Teresa's. We don't have a time yet. They're still scheduling when the Linden contingent will be on, but if you like, we have a Facebook page that you could go to. It's a General Pulaski Memorial Parade Committee of St. Teresa's Linden, and all the information will be posted there. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Lisa De Silva for taking over the reins as president. We're really moving the organization forward, and just all the efforts, we really appreciate all your hard work, Lisa. Bob, would you like to say something?
I just want to congratulate this year's people who made this possible. Last year, I was forced into being president, not forced, but a temporary president, and we went along. This year, we took a gigantic jump up. So looking forward to the parade, and I'm glad Michelle did all the talking, because much better than I did. But once again, we would like to invite you, if possible, come see the parade, take a ride with us to New York City. If not, I'm sure we'll tell you about it at the next council meeting. Okay, thank you.
Is Ann Burns from King University here? Okay, we're going to move into ordinance, continue from the August 20th. Okay, thank you. I'd like to get a motion to approve the minutes of August 20th, 2013 meeting. Motion, please.
Thank you, Council President. I move the approval of the minutes from the meeting of August 20th, 2013, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Kozio?
Abstain.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Abstain.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Move into ordinance.
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move into ordinance continued from the August 20th, 2013 meeting. A public hearing was held on the ordinance 5720 and 5721. I ask for a motion to table both until the October meeting.
Council President, I make a motion to table indefinitely ordinance 57-20 and 50-21 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Kozio?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Ordinance on hearing. This is the date and time established for a public hearing for ordinance on hearing. Ordinance 5748.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic as follows. Section 7-22.1, four-way stop intersection. Add East Elm Street and Washington Avenue.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Is anyone in the chamber who wishes to be heard on the ordinance? Please come up, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, boy.
I consider that my workout for the week, thank you. With regard to this, why are we getting rid of the traffic light?
Mr. Brown?
Ms. Here, if you look at that traffic light has no delay, so it goes from red to green right away. So if you have a lot of children there, you have School 1, you have Stoll Middle School that's right in the corner down there, you have the library, you have Dobson Park and Washington Park right down the road on there, in that area.
Could you speak into the mic? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. So talking over with our traffic bureau, we were talking about this for over a year and a half. What would be the best solution? Either replacing that light or putting a four-way stop sign. Their recommendation is a four-way stop sign. If you look all down that street, I don't know where the feedback's coming from. Is that, working with our police department, this is the best recommendation that they have. Again, that light has no delay, and to upgrade that light will cost thousands of dollars to do.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Sharpie?
I'd like to thank Mr. Brown and Mr. Colibus and Mr. Cozio and everyone on this, because we discussed this 3 years ago. I was talking about this intersection. Thank you for getting that four-way stop, especially with the buses. They had to make a turn there, and thank you so much for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the chamber wish to comment on this? If not, I'll ask for a motion, please.
Council President, make a motion for the passage of ordinance 57-48 and ask for a second. Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Kozio?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 5749, Mr. Clerk?
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic as follows. Section 7-12, Parking Time Limited, delete from 7-12.2B, Time Limited Meter Parking, Section 2-5, and there entirety. Add 7-12.2B, time limit metered parking, section 2-5.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Does anybody in the chamber wishes to be heard on the ordinance? Please come forward.
I know the city needs money, but I've been spoken to by some business owners on Elizabeth Avenue, and they have a problem with fees, let's just call them fees for parking. It just seems rather unfair that we just continually are sticking it to people with increased fees and other items. Because there are places in this community where you can do business and you don't have to pay parking fees. So it seems to be those places make out better, and then we wonder what's happening to Wood Avenue and why it's going downhill and why no one shops there. Maybe this is one of the reasons why. Thank you.
Thank
Council
you.
President.
Mr. Brown?
Council President, with your permission, if I can ask the treasurer, when is the last time that there was a rate increase as far as the parking?
I believe the last time we had discussed this, it was decades that the last increase was.
I think it was like in the 1980s. And also, Ms. Hero, is with the mayor has been holding meetings as far as with our planners that are going to be helping us out with Wood Avenue. And just, was it on Wednesday, correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, she even mentioned that our parking rates are one of the lowest, if not the lowest, in the area.
That's correct, Councilman Brown.
Any further comments from the people in the audience on this? If not, I'll ask for a motion, please.
Council President, I move that the hearing be closed and ordinance number 57-49 be adopted, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Cozio?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 5750.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, as follows. Section 7-15, parking by permit only in designated residential areas. 7-15.1, parking details shall be valid for a 3-year period.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Is anybody in the audience wish to be heard on this? Motion, please.
Yes, Council President. I ask that ordinance 57-50 be closed and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Cozio?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
No. 5751.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-35, Regulation for the movement and the parking of traffic on municipal property and Board of Education property as follows. Delete Section 7-35.2 in its entirety. Add Section 7-35.2, Municipal Parking Lots.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Does anybody in chambers wish to be heard on the ordinance? Motion, please.
Council President, I move the hearing be closed and ordinance number 57-51 be adopted, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Cozio?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Mr. Clerk, 5752.
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing a schedule of titles, salary ranges, and regulations for maintaining the classification and salary standardization plan of all employees of the City of Linden, passed August 15, 1995, and approved August 16, 1995, 4-HH1, Accounting Procedures and Analyst, Municipal Court Administrator, and Principal Payroll Clerk.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Does anyone in the audience wish to be heard on the ordinance? Please come up.
Mildred Curry, 400 East Baltimore Avenue. I'd like someone to just explain to me why we have an ordinance for that. We already had an ordinance, didn't we, to cover these?
Mrs. Stack.
These are new titles that, the procedures analyst, accounting procedures analyst is a new title that, new to the city, so we have to establish a minimum and a maximum. The title principal payroll clerk appears in our contractual contract, but did not appear on our salary ordinance, so we had to put it on our salary ordinance. And municipal court administrator, the individual who presently holds that title, will be retiring. The council's voted to put in a new person, and that person will have a reduced maximum amount. So we had to put in a new salary for that position as well.
Okay, so that equates with saving money?
Yes.
Good, thank you.
Pat Hero, please.
Pat Hero, Chief Road. Could you give me the range for the municipal court administrator, please?
We'll have it for you in a moment.
The minimum is $43,795, the maximum is $83,000.
Exactly. That's one of the problems we're having. That still is a very, very wide range. I think if we're going to start reducing our budget, which I think we should do instead of increasing people's taxes, we should be starting to narrow these ranges. Thank you for your time.
Council President?
Councilman Brown?
Yes. Ms. Stack, can you tell us what currently that range is, the top range for this position?
The current maximum's near $120,000 for that present title.
So basically, we cut this by almost $40,000 roughly, or either $30,000 or $40,000.
Yes.
Right, but we can tighten it up even more. Thank you. I'd like maybe to 70,000. That would be somewhat reasonable.
Thank you. Motion, please.
Mr. President, I move that the hearing be closed and ordinance 5752 be adopted and request a second.
Second. Mr. Kalbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yamikaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 5753, Mr. Clerk.
An ordinance of the City of Linden creating a residential overnight parking permit for certain areas. East Elizabeth Avenue area establishing a 3-year parking permit.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Is there anyone in the council chambers wish to be heard on the ordinance? Yes. Mr. Sharpie, and when he's done, we'll get you out.
On this resolution, it's a little bit too late. I asked about this 2 years ago, and I was told they had no time for it, so now we've decided to move out of Linden. Thank you.
Please come up.
My question is, these parking permits, are they for the new apartment complex that we have, the new condominium complex?
No, these
Are
parking
they
permits.
related to that at all?
No, this
or-
is not related to that at all. This is an area down where East Elizabeth Avenue, they have to split off going over towards Roselle Street, and there's a parking issue for the residents. The councilman requested we look into and came up with an ordinance so that the residents.
Where is this again? Could you?
It's heading down towards, on East Elizabeth Avenue, where you have that split going off to one side.
Would that be going towards Rahway?
No, the other way.
Going
Spot.
towards Elizabeth?
Correct.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
All right, thank
It's a
you.
residential area. It's for the residents in the area at the
Yes,
request of the
it's
council.
very narrow going in that direction. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in the chamber wish to comment? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Council President, I make a motion for the passage of ordinance 57-53 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colobus?
Yes.
Kosiel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
I'm voting no. I missed out on 5750, which I really wanted to vote no, but I'm voting no on this.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
No. Mr. Clerk, 5754.
An ordinance of the City of Linden creating a residential overnight parking permit for certain areas, Northwood Avenue area, establishing a 3-year parking permit.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Is there anyone in the chamber wishes to discuss this matter? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion, please.
Council President, I move the hearing be closed and ordinance number 57-54 be adopted and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colobus?
Yes.
Kosiel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
No.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
No. Mr. Clerk, 5755.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $112,000 for the acquisition of 2 dump trucks for the Public Works Department and authorizing the issuance of $106,400 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Does anybody in the chamber wish to be heard on the ordinance? Would you please come to the microphone?
Mildred Curry Johnson. I guess my question is, was this a part of our budget in terms of the acquisition of 2 dump trucks? Was that a part of our budget that was already passed?
Mrs. Zak?
Yes, this was part of the 2013 capital budget.
And that was approved, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and we're raising money to supplement part of that? Was that also included in the budget, that we were going to do that?
Well, no, this is part of the capital budget, so the capital budget is part of the plan for addressing our equipment. So the equipment, again, has no bearing on our taxes in this current year budget. It's not being purchased out of the current budget. It's being bonded through and paid for through the capital budget.
And that would be for next year's budget?
It will be when we do a bond issue, probably within a 2-year period.
Could you give me just a little information about a bond and how we...
Presently, we do bond anticipation notes, which is temporary financing for our capital improvements. As our debt service drops off, we do a bond issue. We permanently finance our debt. So for instance, this capital budget for this year and last year would be then permanently financed once we see that we keep a level debt. So by 2015, there may be older debt that's dropping off that's been paid for, and then we go to permanently finance this debt. It's handled through the capital budget.
I think I understand it. As your debt is reduced the previous years, then you're able to take additional debt on, so
Correct.
that's when you issue a bond?
Correct, and that's when we
Okay.
try to keep a level debt service.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else in the chamber wishes to be heard on the ordinance? Seeing none, I ask for a motion, please.
Council President, I ask for the passage of ordinance 57-55 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colobus?
Yes.
Kosiel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy? Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 5756.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $121,000 for the installation of traffic signals and related traffic improvements for the police department, and authorizing the issuance of $114,950 bonds and notes to finance part of the cost.
Mr. Clerk, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Does anyone in the chamber wishes to be heard on the ordinance? Would you please come to the microphone?
Mildred Curry. I guess I'm really concerned about the place that we were in this year with the $5.2 million that we were in debt. And so, well, we were below our ability to pay, and we had to raise not only property taxes, which has been a consistent thing, but we also had to add additional money on the backs of taxpayers. And so whenever I see bond, and then I see these figures, and I see one figure, and then I see another figure, and I see improvements, I guess it concerns me because I want to know, does that increase the amount of money that we'll need for next year?
Mrs. Sack?
Again, this is part of the capital budget for 2013. It was approved in the capital budget, and again, it has no impact on the current fund budget. This is something that, once again, we handle through the capital.
Yes.
This particular ordinance is dealing with certain pedestrian traffic crossing signals, and there's about 4 different older intersections that need to be updated, as well as traffic and pedestrian crossing signs. So this is something that we're handling through the capital budget. It's not going to impact the current fund budget.
And it's not going to raise the amount of money that we have to have for next year in order to meet our bills?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Council President?
Councilman Brown?
Yeah. And, I'm sorry. One of the reasons why we're doing this, and like Ms. Zach said, is to improve these intersections. While this is outside of our current fund budget, which most of your taxes pays towards, what's in your current fund budget, and we keep hearing, remember, month after month, we talk about vendors, is that, you know, trying to save money by reducing the amount that we pay for these vendors that have to come out and repair these old lights. So some of these lights keep breaking down. I think one was in the 7th ward, and one was like in my ward. So we keep paying a couple of $1,000s a pop for them to come out to repair these, which comes out of the current fund budget, which that's where your taxes are coming out of, as opposed to just fixing this and reducing the amount that we're paying to these vendors. You know, that's how we'll save money in the long run.
Any further comments from the public in the chamber? If not, I'll ask for a motion, please.
Council President, I ask for the passage of ordinance 57-56 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. We're going to move into the consent agenda. All items listed with the asterisk are considered to be routine by the City Council and be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or citizen so requests. In the event, the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in normal sequence on the agenda. We have items 1 through 7. Does anyone wish to remove an item? On my right, Pat Hero. Number 4. In the center, anybody wish to remove an item? On my left? Have a motion on the others, please?
Yes, Council President. I ask that we move consent agenda number 1 through 7 with the exception of number 4, and also with the amendment to item number 7 to reflect the retirement date of November 1 for Michael Blazowski. And I seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
yes,
Mr. Moore?
Yes. On item number 4, would you come up, please?
Yeah, on its listed, it just says we're requesting, you know, a street closure, and it says for the event to be held on the following dates, but doesn't say what the event is.
Mr. Bodek?
Did you
It's a
just-
block party. The residents requested that the road be closed for a block party.
Okay, thank you.
Further comments? Seeing none, I ask for a motion, please.
Yes, Council President. I ask that we move consent agenda item number 4 and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Kaczynski.
yes,
Mr. Moore.
Yes. I'd like to move into committee reports. Mr. Colibus?
Thank you, Council President. From the Engineering Department, bids were received on September 5th for the resurfacing of Orchard Terrace, Arudo Street, Trailing Point Road, East 12th Street, Princeton Road, Ferber Avenue, and Morristown Road. Because they exceeded the engineer's estimate by 16%, we recommend the bids be rejected and the project be rebid next month. After I read this, I'm going to ask for approval. Meridian Lifestyles Urban Renewal Linden LLC is applying to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for treatment works approval permit to discharge 30,300 gallons per day of sewage from a 5-story proposed apartment building at 103 to 137 Southwood Avenue. The site plan was approved by the Planning Board on August 13, 2013. Our city engineer has reviewed the application and recommends approval. There will be no cost to the city for this permit. I therefore move that the city engineer be authorized to endorse this application to New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colibus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Kaczynski.
yes,
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Thank you. For First Ward issues, believe me, I've received numerous requests over the last couple weeks about tree trimmings that need to either be cut, trimmed, or cut down. Believe me, I believe Public Works is in the 4th Ward, correct, Councilman Armstead, right now?
Yes, they are.
And believe me, I have every request down and submitted to the Public Works, and they have everything on file, so they're going to get to it as soon as they possibly can. So if anybody, any First Ward resident, has any questions or concern, you could reach me at 925-5568. This completes my report, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Kozio?
No reports tonight, Council President.
Councilman Brown?
Thank you, Council President. From the Finance Committee, approval is requested for the following finance actions. In the Department of Finance, approval of the CFO to submit the best practice worksheet to the Division of Local Government Services by the October 15, 2013 deadline. Item number 2, the payment of bills totaling $1,305,575.30. The bills have been signed by the Mayor, Council President, and the Finance Chairman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the Clerk's office. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colibus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Kaczynski.
yes,
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Also, in regards to the Finance Committee, last couple of months I've been talking about preparing, a 5-year plan or budgets. So I just want the public to know that on Thursday, September 26th, around 6 p.m., the city will be holding a special meeting where we have invited our department heads as well as our financial team, if you want to say, that works with the city to talk about financial projections that have been prepared for the 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 2018 budgets. So again, this is one of our goals, is to start looking ahead and get projections and able to help stabilize property taxes. So I just want to let everyone know we are working on that, and the public is encouraged and welcome to come to the meeting again Thursday, September 26th at 6 p.m. In regards to Third Ward news, I don't know if the engineer can explain what's going on in East Elm, because that's the last street to be paved.
East Elm between Wood Avenue and Bauer Street was supposed to have gotten a new water main. The water company temporarily ran out of money, so they postponed the job till late October, early November. They still anticipate being done by Christmas, and the street will be resurfaced in the spring or summer next year.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, I'm just going back to the ordinance as far as with the lights that are being installed. The treasurer passed me a note as far as some of the things that will be going on, which will affect all of the city, is countdown timers in some of our high traffic areas such as Wood Avenue. You're going to start seeing some of these countdown timers, which I think is very important. Upgrading various lights at Knopf and DeWitt, Blanky and Washington, McCandless and Curtis, Roselle and Curtis, four-way stop signs, I believe in the 2nd Ward on DeWitt, or a new signal, and flashing school and pedestrian crossing signs. Other than that, end of report.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Councilman Armstead?
Yes, Mr. President, I have the following reports. In the City Clerk's License Division, monthly report for the month of August 2013, the office issued 75 dog licenses and 69 miscellaneous licenses and collected $2,051. In August 2013, the monthly financial report from the Division of Transportation and Parking, the New York side collections were $6,612. The Trenton side collections were $7,173. The credit card transactions were $17,705.55, and the parking meter collections were $10,240.80, with a grand total of $41,731.85. The following licenses, permits, and transcripts were issued in the City Clerk's office during the month of August 2013. These fees have been turned over to the Treasurer's Office for the City of Linden. There were 121 birth, death, and marriage transcripts for $1,770. There were 26 marriage civil union licenses for $78 of city revenue and $650 for state revenue. There were 10 miscellaneous revenue items for $55.40. There were 2 bingo raffles for $40 and 109 EDRS vital stats for $1,770, 1 borough permit for $5, for a total of $3,718.40, and $650 going to the state, with a grand total of $4,368.40. As mentioned earlier, in Bond Ordinance 5756, we are doing some improvements with regards to our older intersections. There's been some upgrades are going to be performed on our lights, and one such light is the light at McCandless and East Curtis Street. It's right near School 5. So that particular bond ordinance, that money that's been appropriated will go to fix that particular light. Also, I just want to make mention that the Department of Public Works is in the 4th Ward now. They are trimming trees. They basically have just scratched the surface, so be patient. We have a lot of trees that need trimming over there. They're working very diligently, and we do understand that it will take them some time to get through. I would venture to say that they probably won't be finishing up until about October. Am I correct? We have our supervisor in the back there, our tree supervisor. Is that a fair estimate? Yeah, about October. Yeah, we're trying to get everyone in time. Yeah, and they're doing a pretty good job, and we thank them for their efforts.
Could you repeat his answer because he wasn't on the mic?
He said they will probably be finished sometime around October. Oh, he's, middle of November would be a better estimate, okay. So we thank him for his efforts. And basically, that concludes my reports, Mr. President. We don't have too much this evening.
Thank you, Councilman Armstead. Councilwoman Cosby Hurley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Negotiations Committee, we have a meeting scheduled for Thursday, and we are looking to prepare the negotiations. Basically, it's time. The contract is over December 31st, and we'd like to have our committee have, our requests now, and we'll give them to our labor specialist, and he's going to take them to the bargaining units, with the exception of those that made the concessions this year, police and fire, so they will be on for next year. So we will start the process, and hopefully we get a lot of givebacks so that we can see some savings for the taxpayers for the next coming years in the next contract. And I just will let everyone know we don't plan on doing 5-year contracts at all. The recycling committee, if you have been to some of the parks in the area, you'll see that the new receptacles are there. The Dorothy Ford Park was the one that has quite a few events and activities in that park. So you'll see you have the regular can and the blue recycle can. Just be mindful that we want you to put the recyclables in the recycle can. So the other parks are going to get their recycled cans and their new cans soon, because everything is already delivered to the city. The Boys and Girls Club of Union County has after-school programming at school number 4 and school number 5. It's the beginning of the year, and I know that one of the daycare centers in town in June left, so that left a void for some of the parents. The program started in September. It's getting off to a good start. If you're still interested in having your child at either school number 4 or school number 5, you can contact the Boys and Girls Club at 908-351-3344 for registration information for the after-school programming. I'm waiting to get a traffic study back, and you'll hear the signage and the pedestrian safety and all like that going all over the city. At Adams and Dill, we'd like to have a 4-way stop sign. Not only is it a bus stop, it's a high traffic area with several instances of accidents, and there's a park. So hopefully we get a traffic study and we can get our 4-way stop in the intersection of Adams and Dill. The bus stop that we approved on East St. George's Avenue and John Street has been approved. New Jersey Transit is happy to place the bus stop shelter for everyone taking the bus there. Right now, we're just waiting for the state, because it's a state highway, so we have to wait for them to get the appropriate approvals, and the residents and the neighbors who take the bus there will at least have some relief and have somewhere to sit when they're waiting for the bus. At the Linden Multipurpose Center, we have recently gone back and forth. I know that for many years, a lot of us have had concerns with regard to activities. So I'm pleased to report that in the near future, the children who have schedules, 3rd to 5th grade, 6th to 8th grade, those are the children that are extremely impressionable, and a lot of them, you see them just wandering around and they're just hanging out with not very much to do. So I'm excited to report that the game room will have games, finally, again. And in the near future, we're gonna have, I spoke to the recreation supervisor, and you know, he's gonna plan to do different types of activities in the gymnasium in addition to basketball. So the kids can get exposure to other stuff. And then there's going to be actual engagement with the staff there. So I'm excited, and the kids who go there, they'll have something to do. So once we get everything in place, there'll be an announcement and probably like an open house sort of activity, so the parents and the residents can meet the staff, and you know, the children can come and feel comfortable again coming back to the center. And you're smiling because I know that there were so many concerns about love for the community. We love the community, but we just had to get the buy-in from the people, you know, who basically run the place. So we'll get going with that, and I'm excited. So we'll be doing a lot more stuff over there, and it's focusing on our most impressionable children, and it's not taking away from any other group. The seniors still have their time in the daytime. The other adults still have their time in the evening. Street paving, Mildred Avenue and Alexander, you all will be paved soon, so just be mindful of when the signs go up for no parking so that the street can get paved. The next office hours for myself at the LMPC will be September the 25th at 6:30. The next community meeting will be October 30th. September 15th actually began Hispanic Heritage Month, and this October 30th community meeting will not only have community updates, we're actually going to celebrate Hispanic culture. So if you like, you know, the Hispanic culture, just come, enjoy, and we're going to have members of the Hispanic community just come and give us some cultural insights, and we're going to have food items donated from one of the local restaurants. So it'll be October 30th at the LMPC at 6:30. The last thing I'm going to mention is, well, not the last thing, the next to the last thing, the tree trims. They're in the 4th Ward, the tree crew, and I know that the supervisor just came off from being away from work. So I know a lot of us in every ward, we have issues and tree concerns, but the 5th Ward is next. I've been waiting for several months, and I know that we have lots of issues, and they're going from 4th and then to the 5th, and then they're going to go back around. I think the 8th Ward might be after the 5th Ward. Lastly, September to remember is September 28th, and I have the first slot in the dunk tank. So if you don't get there by 11, you can't get me. So I'll be there from 11 to 12 sharp, and then that's it. So it's for a good cause. We're raising money to support, our local organizations. And get me if you can. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Councilman Sadowski?
Thank you, Council President. Just a few things. First, good evening, everyone. In the 6th Ward, a couple of things. The Southwood Avenue project, across from the fire department, that is ready to start any day. So if you see them starting, it's going to be there. The other thing is that it was mentioned that paving of streets. 6th Ward, we have 3 streets to be paved. He will give me the okay on the 3 streets, but we are definitely getting 3 streets. Once I find the name out, next meeting, I'll let you know what streets are being paved. We just had the last meeting with Wawa. That's going to be on Hampton and Smith Street in the highway. Everything is settled. They said they probably would, I guess, start digging in the spring. So Wawa is coming on the highway. That's coming. Talking about the Department of Public Works with the tree trimming and so on, just like the other people, we go ward by ward. They're into the 4th Ward. But if you have any trees to be trimmed or sidewalks to be fixed, please, like most of you are doing, give me a call. And what I do is I'll go out, I check it out, I send a letter back to you stating that your complaint or whatever it is on file. So when they come to our wards, they always do a great job. They always try to help us. So that will be coming up after the 4th and 5th wards. If for some reason there is a particular hazard, imminent hazard, please let me know. We call them up and they will come right out if there's a real hazard. So anything, please feel free to give me a call. My phone number again is 862-0749. It's a little bit late, but don't forget tomorrow in the 6th Ward is trash pickup. I know you're not going to go out right now when you come back and put your trash up, but it's the regular schedule, so it is definitely tomorrow trash pickup. With school in session, please be careful with the children. We have an incident, not an incident, but on 6th School, we are working on a little bit more safety on people exiting the children from the cars and so on and so forth on Linden Avenue. So I got in touch with the police. They are putting up signage and so on. So please, if you travel there, be careful. Also, with the fall coming, please watch the children. And also, if you see any kind of problems in your neighborhood or something suspicious, please give the police a call. Don't say, well, the neighbor across the street's going to call and so on. Please give them a call. If it's not correct, they don't mind coming out and checking it out, but you're better off being safe and not sorry. So please watch for them. I received a couple of complaints about the train station being closed before 5 o'clock. We already talked about that. Train station is supposed to be open from 6 to 5, so I'm sure it will be, but I had 2 or 3 people calling that it's been closing a little bit early. We just mentioned before, I won't have to mention again, October 6th is Pulaski Parade Day. We had the whole thing, so If anyone is interested, please come to St. Teresa's. In the fall, the Senior Citizen Club is the one at Tremley Point, and the Men's Senior Citizen Club has just started. If you are not a member, please think about joining. It's a fun organization. They meet once a week. You can come, you don't have to come. On our non-business meetings, we get coffee, and you get cake, and you get pizza and all sorts of stuff. So if you're thinking about it, please try it. It's 1 o'clock on Monday. It's at Tremley Point Senior Center, and on Tuesday, it's right here at the JTG Center. So think about it. We have a few extra people coming in, but it's just the start. I just passed there today. Last thing I'm going to say is I still get calls about the traffic on 19 and Clinton Street and blocking, the box. We did have a meeting with the state, about 6-7 months ago. We stood on the highway by the Shell station. They did all the calculations. They're supposed to paint in the box and so on, but excuse me, we are still waiting. I just came up special today that way, and it's tough. It's tough. They do block the intersection. So please, we are working on it. The mayor, myself, and other people are still calling them up to get things done, but it takes time with the state. Like I said, if you had any kind of problems or questions, please give me a call. Like I said, I'll answer you, but I can't say definitely that we'll get it fixed for you. But thank you. And once again, please be careful. That concludes my message.
Thank you, Councilman Sadowski. Councilman Sheehy?
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to make a few announcements. This year, September to Remember, it's going to be the best one ever, I can promise you. It's going to be September 28th. It's a Saturday. So please come out. We have extended the hours. We've gotten more bands. We're going to try the beer and wine tent this year, and I think it's going to be a great success. We're going to have 2 stages out there. We've added a lot. We've got a lot more help this year, so I think it's going to be a fantastic event. And this year, hopefully we're going to have a Halloween parade. If it doesn't snow or if we don't have a hurricane, we will have a Halloween parade. That's October 27th. That would be a Sunday at 2 o'clock. And we're going to have a community blood drive at the library. The blood drive is going to be October 7th at 2:30 to 7 o'clock at the library. And our Diamond Gloves, the Diamond Gloves event will be October 4th this year. And I'd like to tell everybody we're trying to get together a leaf schedule for pickup. This way you have a better idea when to put your leaves out on the curb. But believe you me, it's very difficult to keep to that schedule, depending, when the leaves fall off the trees, depending on the weather, and depending on what, goes on with our workforce. So we are going to try to get an attentive schedule and post it on TV 36 on when to get your leaves out to the curb. Like I said, it's going to be an attentive schedule. We're going to try to keep to it, but it's going to be difficult. And that's the end of my report, sir.
Thank you, Councilman Sheehy. Councilwoman Yamakaitis.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the Personnel Committee, approval is requested for the following personnel actions. Number 1, in the Police Department, Division of Central Dispatch, the acceptance of Michael Burdaki's resignation as Public Safety Telecommunicator effective August 28, 2013. Number 2, in the Department of Public Property, Division of Public Works, the promotion of Frank Marcucci, Jr. to Supervisor Public Works effective September 18, 2013 at its present annual salary of $77,030. Number 3, in the Engineering Department, the hiring of John J. Vogel III as a drafting technician at the annual salary of $38,000 effective September 18, 2013 to fill an existing vacancy that was created due to a retirement. Number 4, the approval of the seasonal list for the Division of Recreation for the recreational seasonal programs. The list is on file in the Treasurer's office. Number 5, in the Department of Public Property, Division of Municipal Garage, the granting of FMLA leave for 30 days of employee number 133 until October 22nd, 2013. Number 6, in the Department of Public Property, Division of Public Works, the resignation of Derek Lewis effective August 15, 2013. I seek a motion to approve these personnel report.
Second.
Mr. Colobus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Okay, for my 8th Ward report, I received notification from our engineering department that beginning sometime the week of September 23rd, the contractor that is doing the paving work on South Park Avenue will begin some of the concrete work. Please take notice and plan for any traffic detours due to the paving. South Park Avenue will be paved from Greer Avenue to Bedell Place. This paving is being done through a grant that the city applied for, where the criteria is a roadway that has high volume truck or bus traffic. I also, Mr. Sadowski mentioned about streets being paved. What the city, I'd just like to make the public aware, what the city's done is a program where we're doing odd and even numbers as far as the wards. So next year, the even numbered wards put in their request, so we're just waiting for approval of those streets. Okay. I want to thank everyone that braved the heat on September 11th to come to the Candlelight Vigil at the Wanda Green Park. The Wanda Green Park is a special place not only to the residents, but to the family and co-workers of Wanda Green, who wanted me to extend a special thank you to everyone for having the vigil and not letting us forget the tragic events of that day in our nation's history. We have a new flag flying at the memorial site that is for the flight crew and passengers of heroic Flight 93. We were unable to replace the original United Airlines flag that flew there. It was ripped and torn after several years, but due to the merger of the two companies, they no longer produce that flag. However, former 8th Ward Councilman Albert Youngblood was able to get a special flag for the park. It's dedicated, it's like a red, white, and blue flag that says Heroic Flight 93. I'd just like to also again thank Mr. Richie Check for letting us use his electricity to make everything possible again this year. As everyone is talking about the trees, Armando and I are kind of disappointed down here. We were hoping for, some Thanksgiving tree cutting, but it looks like, Rashana was kind of wrong. It's not coming to the 8th Ward. We still have 2 wards to go through yet. So we're hoping to hopefully get a Christmas present out of it. Okay, I have been requested to make a few announcements. The Linden ROTC will be having a spaghetti dinner at the Gregorio Center on September 27th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please come out to support this great program Linden Public Schools has to offer. Again, that's September 24th from 4 to 8 p.m. The ROTC in Linden is continuing to expand, and they currently have an enrollment of over 400 students, where they might have to expand the teaching staff as well. But it is a great program, and they need your support. Also, just one more, please don't forget our four-legged friends. The Friends of the Linden Animal Shelter will be having a flapjack fundraiser at Applebee's in Linden on Saturday, September 28th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. The cost is $12, which includes pancakes, sausage, scrambled eggs, and a beverage. For more information and tickets, please call 908-463-0050. There's a lot of events going on September 28th, so please go down, have some breakfast before you hit the September to remember. So that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Yamakaitis. Councilman Medina.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. I do have a couple of announcements. Just want to remind everyone that the 9th and 10th Ward will be having a joint yard sale this weekend, the 21st and the 22nd, which is Saturday, Sunday. We have over 40 participants, so if you guys can come out and support, that'll be great. Also, the Friends of Linden Library first annual scavenger hunt on the 28th, which is September to Remember. That'll be the first annual. The cost is $10 for a pair, and there will be a cash prize at the end. You can register for this event on Friday the 27th between 2 and 5 at the Linden Library, or you can contact Dawn Bibiano for additional information at 908-494-8656. Now, just a quick update on public safety on the 9th Ward. I have met with the Director of Public Safety for our Union County. The county has installed 2 speed counters, one on Raritan and the other one on Northwood Avenue between Raritan and St. George. After reviewing the data, the county will coordinate a speed control campaign on these roads. It will hopefully commence later this year, and not even sooner. I have also met with our Chief of Police, Chief Schuhafer and Sergeant Bolsky, and they will formulate a plan of attack, plan to attack the speeding on DeWitt Terrace. The chief assured me that they will commence sometime in September and hopefully continue this campaign throughout the year and possibly 2014. For the 9th Ward residents, we finally adopted the amendment for the permit parking along Northwood Avenue and all the side streets there. Relief is here. Hopefully, we'll start implementation in October, but I'll stay on top of that, and we'll hopefully host a meeting just to give the public, the affected people along Northwood Avenue an update. Also, something that has been occurring a lot in the 9th Ward, a lot more litter. Don't know why, but when I go out for my walk, I always pick up a bottle or a can or whatever's on the streets. I always tend to pick it up. So let's try to keep our city clean, not only in the 9th Ward, but throughout the city. So if you're walking, you're going for a jog, or maybe you're just walking your dog, and you see something in the street, pick it up and throw it away in one of our waste receptacles, take it home and throw it away. Also, I want to thank everyone that came out on August 25th. We had our first meet and greet in the 9th Ward at the Paul Workmeister's Park. It was successful. We had a lot of people that came out. So I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully we'll have another one next year and kind of try to build a community a little bit stronger and just overall bring a sense of awareness to our community. And I just want to, I mentioned this last month, but I just want to remind everyone, we're having a big issue with phony contractors in the city of Linden. I'm pretty sure it's everywhere else in the state. But again, if you suspect something and the contractor asks you to take out a permit in your name and doesn't provide you with a contract, that's a red flag. Always call our construction code department. They're more than welcome to take your call, answer any questions if they're available. Again, we're having issues in the city. Fortunately, some of our residents have fell victim, and it's sad. So I just want to bring some awareness to that. Just please be aware of phony contractor. And that, be safe. School has started. Drive safe around parks and schools in the morning and afternoon, and be overall safe. Thank you. That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Medina. Councilman Adam Kaczynski, 10th Ward. He's here with us electronically tonight. Councilman Kaczynski. We're having a little electronic difficulties at the moment.
I think we lost him, Council President.
All right, we'll get back to him if we can reconnect. And Mayor, could you present your report first?
Yes, thank you, Council President. As all the council persons mentioned, we're having September to Remember the 28th. But I believe somebody should be recognized for all the hard work and effort that she has put in as president of the Cultural Committee. And I would just like to thank publicly Gretchen Hickey, who's sitting in the back. And please stand up, Gretchen. She's working so hard and putting in so much time, and she's strictly a volunteer. And I guarantee you that this is going to be the best yet September to Remember. So again, thank you for all your hard work, Gretchen. if people have noticed, we're starting to improve or starting to use our beautification money around the train station on Wood Avenue. As everybody's familiar, we got about $1 million from Transit Village, which is run by the Department of Transportation. We can only use it for the beautification program. The project team, which is meeting, has decided that we are going to spend that money from the railroad trestle northbound and from the railroad trestle southbound as far as the money takes us, and we're deciding on what improvements we want to do. And again, if the public has any suggestions, please feel free to contact my office with your suggestions. We've already beautified the inside of the train station with new restrooms, benches, and a paint job. Shortly, they're going to be painting the outside of the train station. We've had a painter paint underneath the trestle, and through the hard work of Councilman Medina, he was able to contact a fraternity in Kane College, and they are on October 5th going to be painting murals on the walls underneath the trestle. So again, we're going to start beautifying that area, and I think it's going to be something that's going to spruce up Wood Avenue and spruce up the entire neighborhood. I also would like to mention that, just to remind people, that Comcast has a program for individuals who are low income to get bargain basement prices on the internet for their home. They charge $9.95 a month. The family has to have at least one child eligible to participate in the National School Lunch Program. And if you want to apply for this low-cost internet service provided by Comcast, you could call 1-855-8-INTERNET, 1-855-8-INTERNET, and if you don't have that number, just call my office, and we'll be more than happy to give it to you. Also, I'd like to mention that you're going to be hearing more about the Affordable Care Act, which is also known as Obamacare. This is being provided by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. What it is health care to individuals who do not have it in the entire United States. You're going to start hearing a lot more publicity about it. We're going to start publicizing a lot of the issues. Come October 1st, they're going to have a marketplace open with about 10 insurance companies, and these are legitimate insurance companies like Prudential and other major insurance companies. And individuals that do not have health care are going to be required to sign up for it. So that's going to start October 1st, and it's going to run through March of next year, and it's going to be effective January 1st of 2014. Again, it's a bit complicated. Information is starting to be distributed by the federal government, and as they distribute that information to us, we are going to distribute it to the public to educate them. And probably in January, we're going to have a community meeting when the awareness is at its peak to have people make sure that they know that they're going to have to sign up for this program, because part of the penalty is that you will be fined if you don't have health care and you don't sign up for the program. How that's going to be done, the intricacies of that, I'm not quite sure. But again, we'll be providing the information as we get it so that we could educate and raise public awareness. That's the end of my report, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move into the resolutions 2013-330 through 2013-361. Public comments will be permitted for those specific resolutions to be removed from the consent approval. Please read the synopsis of the resolutions, which have been prepared by the City Clerk's office. Each is informative and self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address a specific resolution, the council will entertain questions on it. Does anybody wish to remove any resolutions from 330 to 361 on my right? Ms. Wilverdink? 332. 357. And 357. Pat Hero? 332. 344. 348. 357. 361. And the gentleman? Sir? 334. Your name, sir? Dial? Okay.
334.
Anyone else on my right? In the center? Mr. Sharpie? 330? And 336. In the center? On my left? Seeing none, I ask for a motion on the remainder.
Council President, I ask that resolutions 330 of 2013, 332, 2013, 361 be passed, with the exception of resolutions 330, 332, 334, 336, 344, 348, 357, 361, and I seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Sadowski? Yes. Sheehy? Yes. Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
I think we lost them electronically.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 330, Mr. Sharpie?
Yes, on this one, these funds, will they be, some of these funds go to the school district? Because there is a law that's in here now that students applying for their license and everything would want to know about it, and that's have one be pulled over. And if you have one bottle of alcohol or one drink, you could be pulled over under new statute laws, and some of these funds be sent over to the school district so that they can, with their driving courses and also the health classes, some of these funds be sent over to the schools. That's all.
Thank you. Motion, please.
Council President, I ask that resolution 2013-330 be approved and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 332, Ms. Wilverdink?
I wanted to combine that and just ask at once, combining with 357 because they are the company involved in that. It says that they're going to provide project management services. What exactly would they be doing?
I could answer that, Council President.
Honorable Mayor?
This organization is going to be a consultant for the project team that is going to use the $1 million to beautify Southwood Avenue. The money we are getting is not going to be given to us in a lump sum and drawn down. As we do each project, there's a lengthy process involved in putting applications into the federal government, making sure that we buy America with all the metals and all the materials we use. So again, excuse me, we need somebody that knows what they're doing, because if we give a faulty application, we lose that money.
So they watch the grants and make sure that we fulfill the grants, and they write the grants?
They write the applications so that we conform with federal laws.
Now, this is just for the part around the train station, or is this for all of Wood Avenue that would improve and help out?
That's all of Wood Avenue, the $1 million.
The whole of Wood Avenue?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
so-
not the whole Wood Avenue. $1 million is going to take the whole Wood Avenue. We're going to start north and south from the trestle and take it as far as we could, depending upon what the project team decides what improvements we want to do.
Okay, so it's the money that's involved mainly around the Transit Village area.
Right, but again, we'll work it out as far as the $1 million takes us north and south of Wood Avenue.
Okay, and they're needed so that we fulfill all the requirements that the government require.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Pat Hero on 332.
Okay, but if these are grants, why isn't Adam Zellner from Greener by Design working on these? Why do we have to have this Mueller-Bolin Associates?
Because they're the ones that have the expertise to lead us through this project so that we don't lose a penny.
Okay, and if we're only getting a little bit of money at a time from this, then why, I believe, in the last council meeting, did we put out that bond for the $1 million if we're not getting $1 million, if we're only getting like drips and drabs, let's say $60,000 here or $50,000 there?
Mrs. Hero, that was required under the federal enhancement funds that we have to have an appropriation to charge. So we have to set it up through the capital budget because most of the expenditures that will occur will be capital in nature. But again, we're not going to borrow that money if we don't need it because it is federal funds, but we need a mechanism to charge. Therefore, the capital project allows us that mechanism to charge for the appropriation.
I guess I'm a little bit confused because this is with regard to the Transit Village, and that's a state program. Then where does the federal government come into it?
There's actually two components. There's a federal enhancement component, and then there's the state component. There's state funds and federal funds. Therefore, we required this project management team that has the expertise in order to make sure that those funds are not commingled. It's a federal requirement under the Federal Enhancement Transportation Act that we receive certain funds from, and also the state of New Jersey has given us funds through the Transit Village designation.
Okay, thank you. And where's this group based in?
Lyndhurst, New Jersey?
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Brown, you had a comment?
Yeah, I just want to make it clear, and the treasurer already touched on it, that, correct me if I'm wrong, it's mandatory that we have a project team to help us out with this. This is a matter of us just wanting to go hire somebody. We're mandated to have this, and that, again, correct me if I'm wrong, that they're being paid out of the grant money that we are receiving. So it's not, again, coming out of your current fund, but rather from the money that we're receiving from the grant. And then lastly, you know, I feel the mayor mentioned that there's a project team. This company has met with the project team and showed us their proposal. They have asked for feedback. And what I like about this company personally is that, again, they're not talking about doing something just today, but setting a plan, a blueprint that we can follow through and continue to get applications after applications to, you know, clean up Wood Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Motion, please.
Council President, I move resolutions 332 and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Kalbus, I believe they both spoke on 332 and 357.
Oh, I'm sorry. Council President, I move that resolutions 332 and 357 be moved and seek a second.
I again second.
Mr. Kalbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski? Mr. Moore?
Yes. Welcome back, Mr. Kaczynski. Mr. Kaczynski, we lost you during councilmatic reports. Do you have anything you wish to say tonight?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Council President. I just want to make a few brief announcements before I possibly get lost again here. I would just like to announce that Fire Prevention Night is going to be on the 24th, this Tuesday coming up, Tuesday this week, and it's brought to you in conjunction with the Fire Department and New Star. It's going to be a great night for children to come on out with families, learn what the Fire Department does, learn about other safety rules. And also some of my other colleagues on council pointed out the safety issues involved with schools opening up recently. Please be very careful when you're driving. This also goes to the parents. So please drop off students at designated spots. This isn't just for the homeowners, but this is also for their safety. These are predetermined spots that the schools are aware of for the children to safely make it to and from school. Other than that, Mr. President, I'm going to bid my farewell here, and thank you very much for allowing me again to give this council report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. We'll return to the resolutions. Resolution number 334. Mr. Bear, fire.
Hello, my name is Don Byer, live at 421 Minor Terrace. This resolution, I see we're getting money from a grant to purchase 2 outboard motors. This is like some serious horsepower, 600 horsepower. What kind of boat we putting this on?
Chief Rizzo.
It's a 27-foot Boston Whaler fire boat, has a fire pump in it.
Chief, speak into the mic for the audience in the TV land.
It's a 27-foot Boston Whaler fireboat.
Oh, it's a fire boat, so it has pumps for putting out fires?
Yes.
And where did we get this boat from?
We got this boat through Port Security Grant. It's a regional project that the Port Authority led and gave. When we got ours, there was 5 boats that were given out along the Arthur Kill and the New York and New Jersey Harbor.
And what year is this boat? Is it new because it came without motors?
It's fairly new. It's 2 years old.
3 years old and has no motors.
Yeah, but what they're doing is through the grant, they are allowing us to, or they actually asked us to purchase these motors through the grant so that we have spares ready so the boat can remain in service all the time.
Was it a Hurricane Sandy boat that we're getting?
No.
It wasn't, so it's in good shape. Now, who's going to pilot this boat?
We have members that are qualified to pilot it.
All right, did we ever need a...
Actually, what they also provided was grant money to train us to use the boat.
All right, did we have a need for a fire boat?
Well, we have about 5 miles of waterfront in Linden.
All right.
With some pretty heavy fire load on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Motion, please.
Council President, I ask that Resolution 2013-334 be passed and seek a second.
Second. Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
No.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski? Mr. Kaczynski?
Councilman Kozinski, 10th Ward. You?
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Mrs. Cosby, I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said Councilman Kozinski said he would be bidding his farewell after he gave his report.
Thank you. Councilman Armstead.
During Councilman Kaczynski's report, I don't know if you were able to hear him, but I certainly wasn't able to hear him too well. He did mention that Tuesday, September 24th, there's fire prevention night. It's going to be at 5 o'clock at the Promenade. I know I couldn't hear him, so I'm just repeating that just so the public can hear it. Tuesday, September 24th, fire prevention night, 5 o'clock at the Promenade. That's right across the street. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Armstead. 336, Mr. Sharp.
Yeah, on this public defender, that they not be involved in county government, and also that the public defender be able to speak both English and Spanish. So important the next public defenders that they be able to speak both English and Spanish, so we don't have to go out and get a second one for Spanish. So a bilingual public defender. That's all.
Thank you. Motion, please.
Council President, I ask that Resolution 2013-336 be passed and seek a second.
Second. Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
No.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kozinski? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Moore?
Yes. Resolution 334, Pat Hero.
334?
When does our lease for Linden Airport expire?
Mr. Verchik.
Every time we accept a grant, it starts 20 years again.
No, I'm sorry, Council President.
Ask you to wait until,
Council President?
City Attorney, Mr. Hudak.
If I may, the lease with the airport operator expires approximately 10 years, about around 2020, in that time frame. However, as Mr. Verge pointed out, the airport has to remain as an airport for 20 years from the time we accept a grant. So at that point in time, when that lease is up, the city council will decide whether they're going to release it or not to another operator.
Okay, I guess there isn't any way, I mean, I don't know what the lease says, but I guess there isn't any way to make the leaseholder responsible for the updates, correct?
He pays,
improvements?
no, he, currently, he applies for the grant through the city, and he puts up the matching funds. The city does not put up any funds. It runs through the city, but under the lease, he applies for the grants. He goes through the city because we're the agency that would receive them, and to the extent that there's a matching fund needed to make the grant up, he then provides that funds.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
Councilman Brown.
No comment.
Thank you. Motion, please.
Council President, I ask that Resolution 2013-344 be passed and seek a second.
Second. Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
No.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Resolution 348, Pat Hero, please.
I know they're usually easy to understand and explanatory, but I do not understand this one. Resolution to withdraw the Union County Solid Waste Management Plan Amendment request consisting of the city's wood chipping operation at the city landfill site as an exemption under New Jersey, I guess, Administrative Code, and it gives the section. What's this all about?
Mr. Hudak, could you elaborate on that?
Yes. Ms. Hero, the state allowed us, we had the beast down there, and we were chipping wood in the Asian longhorn beetle. That has over now. We received that from the federal government. We are continuing to use the beast. However, we can no longer process that wood as a recycled material and send it to the incinerator to be burned. So the state wants us to amend and come up with another use, and we have to take the chipper and shipping the wood to the incinerator out of the current plan. So we have to, the city has to adopt a resolution requesting to be taken out, and so does the county, and then we will present with them a use for the byproduct of that machine.
Okay, thank you.
May I have a motion on 348, please?
Council President, I ask that Resolution 2013-348 be passed and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 361, Pat Hero.
Okay. It says on this one, it's amending the resolution approving the introduction of the calendar year 2013 Special Improvement District budget. In Resolution 2013-221, the total budget amount was correct. An amended resolution is needed. Is that a typo?
Mrs. Sack.
Mrs. Hero, what occurred on this particular item, the assessed valuation that was used was at 27 cents, and it has to be at 25 cents. So the original budget was adopted at 108,000. We're changing it to 100,747. I understand what you're saying with the wording of the caption may be incorrect, But what we're trying to do is amend the resolution for the budget from what it was originally adopted at 108,000 to now 100,747.
Okay, so if I'm correct then, this means that the Special Improvement District budget is $100,747 for the year, correct?
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion, please.
Council President, I ask that Resolution 2013-361 be passed and seek a second.
Second. Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. The council, in order to take into consideration public input into the proposed ordinance, will allow 3 minutes for each individual to speak on the ordinance on first reading. Council will not answer any questions, and everyone is reminded that the public hearing on each of these ordinances will be held next month's meeting. Ordinance on first reading, 5757.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic, Section 7-10, Parking Prohibited at All Times shall be amended as follows. Add Roselle Street West.
Comments? Seeing none, I ask for a motion.
Council President, I ask for the introduction of ordinance 57-57 and ask for a second.
Second.
Colvis.
Yes.
Koziel.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Cosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Sheehy.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. 5758.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 2 Administration, Chapter 16 Solid Waste Management as follows. Chapter 2 Administration, Section 16-8 Garbage Collection Annual Charges. Add Section 16-8.2 Administration, 16-8.3 Collection of Fees, and 16-8.4 Enforcement.
Comments, Mr. Sharpie and then Pat Hero.
The annual fee will be $120, am I correct on that? And can you inform the residents what the late fee will be? Whether it will be $5, $10, or $20? If they're late at the end of the 6-month period, can you explain to the residents what the late fee will be, whether it be $5, $10, or $20? Explain to them what the late fee will be.
The late fee will be $5.
Pat Hero.
I've spoken about this once, twice, and 3 times. Now this is the 4th. This is confiscatory. This by no means is fair. When you first approached it, it sounded like this was a one-time thing just to tide you guys over because you were having such a hard time with the budget this year. But now it looks like goody goody gumdrop. We're going to get more money. We're going to keep this going for as long as we wanted to into perpetuity. That's so unfair. I think this should be enacted with a one-year expiration. I don't think we should encourage continuing fees. It's not going to stop with this. Who knows what other fees you may consider? And I have some going on in my mind, but believe me, you're not going to hear about them. This is just ridiculous. This is just another way of you trying to get more money from the taxpayers. You have to cut down on expenses. You just can't keep increasing our revenues. Quite frankly, we don't have it, and we can't take it anymore. And we're really mad. Thank you.
Further comments?
Council
Motion, please.
Council President, I just want to clarify something.
Mr. Hudak.
So that the public doesn't get the misconception of the ordinance. This ordinance is establishing an appeal procedure for anyone that wants to dispute the garbage fee. It is not an additional fee, so I just want to clarify that for the public when they actually read the ordinance. It is not establishing a fee, it is establishing an appeal process of the fee.
Thank you, Mr. Hudak. Motion?
Council President, I ask for an introduction for ordinance 57-58 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colobus?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
No.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
No.
Medina?
Yes to the appeal process, no to the fee, so I say yes just to get the ball rolling.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 57, 59.
An ordinance to vacate a portion of the roadway known as Hampton Street in accordance with the minor subdivision plan of lots 9.1 and 9.2, Block 470, Lot 7.1, Block 471.
Comments from the audience? Seeing none, I ask for a motion, please.
Mr. President, I move for the introduction of ordinance 57-59 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Colobus?
Yes.
Koziol?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. We're going to move into comments from the public in attendance on city business only, not to exceed 5 minutes. Does anyone have a list here? Pat Hero, would you like to come up and make a statement for 5 minutes?
Actually, would I like to come up? No, I like to think about last month when I took my vacation. It was rather refreshing. But I did get a chance to hear you all on YouTube. I'll save my comments maybe for next month. I'm a little bit tired. But anyway, first I wanted to say New Jersey Hope and Healing is going to be continuing in the Linden Public Library on the 3rd floor on September 21st on Saturday. They provide counseling services for those who are affected by Hurricane Sandy, or even those who are affected by the after effects of Hurricane Sandy, you know, like having problems with your insurance company and getting frustrated on how to deal with that. They're very helpful. They go from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m., and if there's a need, they sometimes even run after that. So they're very helpful, and if you want to come out, that's on the 3rd floor of Linden Public Library, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. This Saturday, September 21st, and they'll probably continue every 2 weeks, as long as there's a need for them. So if you want to come on out. One thing that's been very interesting, and of course you did discuss it last month, was the fact that you really couldn't increase Ron Stefanowicz's budget anymore. And some of you considered it like a contribution, you know, like I guess kind of like donating to the United Way. Well, I don't really think of it as a contribution. I think of it, are you committed to the economic development of the city or are you not? Because in my hand here, I have the Linden Special Improvement District, which budget is $100,747. And he has a secretary, he has supplies, advertising, project planning, special projects, promotion, repairs, maintenance, and a grantsman. Don't ask why Adam Zellner can't do his grantsman services, but I don't know, but that's something I guess for another day to find out. The fact remains is that Ron Stefanowicz has Ron Stefanowicz. Ron Stefanowicz is his own secretary himself. Ron Stefanowicz makes his own phone calls, does his own faxes, types his own stuff. You see, and Ron Stefanowicz is a very well-credentialed individual. Fact is that Ron Stefanowicz does all this stuff, doesn't have the benefit of a budget for supplies, advertising, project planning, special projects, promotion, repairs, maintenance, or a grantsman. I think he writes his grants himself. And yet you wonder, why doesn't he get more done? Maybe if you funded him properly, he would. But you know what? Ron Stefanowicz is amazing. It's like you've tied his arms behind his back, you've blindfolded him, you've put one hand over his ear, and he's still able to get the job done with all the stuff you handicapped him with. I think your treatment of Ron Stefanowicz is purely political. You don't like him because he's Mayor Gabunka's man. Hold on, I'm not finished. The fact remains is I've disagreed with Mr. Stefanowitz on occasion about the transit village, but you know what? He's got the transit village done. Where before it just kept getting postponed, 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 he got it done. Now, I'm against the transit village because I don't think that anybody's really thought about how it's going to compare with all the other communities in New Jersey that have transit villages. And I really don't think density is the way to go in Linden, but that's between me and Ron Stefanowitz and our personal disagreement. But there's no disagreement in the fact that the man is incredibly well-credentialed, extremely talented, well-respected in the community. And I'd like to see somebody's credentials who's correcting him, because the fact is, the only credential we know of is that you like the movie The Walking Dead. And yes, Councilman Peter Brown, I'm talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Council President.
Mr. Brown?
Thank you. Ms. Hero, a couple of things that I think you need to be corrected on. It's labeled as a contribution because of, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, is that there's a difference between the LEDC, which is a corporation, and SID, the Special Improvement District. If you're looking at ordinance, that ordinance creates a special improvement district which by state statutes allows a special tax in a special improvement district, hence SID. LEDC, which stands for the Linden Economic Development Corporation, is a corporation which cannot pass on a tax. So therefore, Ms. Hero, their budget, SID, and LEDC gets funded two different ways. Now, in regards to the contribution, it's not a matter of us wanting to put the label on contribution, but over 3 years ago when this got brought up, the contribution that is, when the city gives money out to a third-party organization, whether it's LEDC or Pop Warner, it needs to be labeled as a contribution as per state law and as per our auditors. So this was something a matter of writing something that was done inappropriately. Now, Ms. Hero, what disturbs me or what gets me a little upset is that you're the one that keeps saying it's politics. And in addition, when just like you came up before, and you say a lot of things, in my opinion, that aren't true. When you talk about the garbage surcharge, and you say that we are glad that we got this money and we just want to spend this money. Ms. Hero, that's simply not true. And again, when we have our special meetings or our meetings on Monday, and we're talking about the best way to spend, not to spend, but to reduce money in a direction that Linden should be moving in, you're simply not there. So you're making statements that, in my opinion, truly aren't correct. I talked about a 5-year budget plan, and I would like to see you at this meeting that when we discuss the budget, because one of the things I brought up tonight, which you were not there in the back to hear, was how are we going to eliminate this garbage surcharge?
Mr. Brown, would you announce, Ms. Hero?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Council President. Did I not
announce the date of that meeting?
I do, and I actually have a previous commitment for that night, and I'm sorry, but that was done before I even knew about that meeting. I have a commitment on the 26th. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Okay. And the date of the meeting, Mr. Brown?
The 26th.
Again, it's September 26th at
Thank
6
you.
p.m., Ms. Hero.
Thank you. I'd like to call up Mr. Al Jones.
Mr. President, I'd like to comment.
Mr. Armstead?
I'd like to comment to Mrs. Hero as well. Mrs. Hero, I happen to agree with you on this particular issue. However you characterize the LEDC, I think the city can ill afford at this point in time, at this juncture, to cut our economic arm off. I mean, Ron Stefanowitz is responsible for trying to bring in revenues and increase our businesses in Linden. And I think he's doing a pretty decent job. I mean, he's worked on some key things. You mentioned the transit village, and I know you were against that, as you mentioned earlier. But, you know, we were basically chasing our tail on that particular issue, and Ron got it done. And Ron is working on some very significant and some very meaningful projects with regard to this city. And I think at this time, at this point, you know, where ratables and bringing in revenues has become very important to the city, it is not a good time to remove a person who is operating in that capacity. You know, he's a key component to the city's operation at this point. Thank you.
Council President.
Councilwoman Cosby-Hurley.
Well, I appreciate everyone's comments. The budget is passed. The contribution is what it is, and we should just move on and let the committee who's in charge of revenue enhancement also pick up the ball and start rolling with it, in addition to the CID and Mr. Ron Stefanowitz. That's all I'm going to say. Like, we keep hearing this, but Ms. Hero, the budget is passed. We voted for it. He can't get any more money because we don't have any. And, you know, he's doing what he can with what he has. And Adam Zellner actually is working to do some grants that funnel through the LEDC, because we've had some instances this week where the Greener by Design firm is working with the LEDC individual to help look and see what we can do in the 5th Ward on the area of St. George's Avenue where the project, you know, was stalled and we have empty lots. So he does get assistance from, you know, the city of Linden. It may not be financial, you know, to make sure that he gets the salary he once had, but we do support him where we can with regard to the fact that he has an office here in the city. He doesn't pay for that. He has his supplies through the office upstairs. He has a phone, like stuff like that. Like you're saying, the LEDC versus the CID. CID, the businesses pay taxes to support the CID organization, and that's where their budget comes from. That's all I have.
Councilman Sheehy?
Thank you, sir. I think one of the biggest foolish thing we did up here was cut Ron Stefanowicz's salary. Ron Stefanowicz knows this city, like they say, like the back of your hand. If someone was looking to move into the city of Linden, they call the city of Linden. Who are they going to call? Ron Stefanowicz isn't here every day now. What that man does for that salary, I'd quit. I would quit. Why he put up with this nonsense for so long is for the love of the city of Linden, the knowledge of the city of Linden, the people he communicates with in the city of Linden. You can ask any business in this city about Ron Stefanowicz, and they know Ron. The big businesses in this town know Ron. And to cut Ron, it's like you said, it's like cutting his hands off to me and plugging his ears. To do what we did to that man. It's my opinion. I lived in this city. I know Ron. I know what he's doing. He's working on project after project. Yeah, with the economy that we've been faced with in the last 6-8 years, there's nothing happening anywhere. But this guy isn't giving up. He's been out there. This turnpike road has been going on for 30 years. And Ron, he's there. You know, we're waiting for signatures. You know, we've talked over this turnpike road over and over and over. He's there. You know, he put together the whole map of this city. So now when someone comes to this city, he can answer the questions. Here it is. The guy built a book of the whole infrastructure of the city of Linden on his own. The book's got to be 4 inches thick. And now he's got everything lined up, and we throw the guy to the curb. You know, it's just my opinion. I think it was very foolish to get rid of Ron Stefanowicz and cut his salary. So now the man works, I don't know, 1 or 2 days a week if he works that. You know, it was foolish on the minimum salary that the guy had. A guy driving a garbage truck in the city of Linden's making more money than Ron Stefanowicz, and we cut his salary. I'm sorry to be blunt, but that's the God's honest truth. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman Sheehy. Mr. Allard Jones, East Elizabeth Avenue. Mildred Curry Johnson.
I can be more cordial. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to say that I'm a little bit impressed tonight. I'm impressed because I hear people who are really consciously thinking about where we were when we had to soul search and dig so deep into ourselves to find that we had made some serious mistakes over the years in how we spend money. And to me, I believe that we seriously are looking at every aspect of what we're spending now better than we've done before. Before it was like you paint a brush, all resolutions passed. Now you have people who come here and they question in detail, and you give answers in detail. And maybe you've been doing that. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, and I have to apologize if that has been the case. But I'm wide awake now because you woke me up with $5.2 million shortfall in our budget. That woke me up. Then you start digging in my pocket, the other pocket. You went in one already, but you went in the other one. That really woke me up. So I believe that my coming here, Ms. Hero and the people who week after week come here and sit and question you, our mind is much more than what it was before. It seems that we are so clear on the economic issues that we got into that created a mess in our city that we are now focused on answering and responding to the public as we should. The other thing I want to say is, and I heard, Councilman Sheehy vehemently concerned about Mr. Stefanowitz. And I look at, we did him a favor too. He was paid for years to do a job. And if you take those years and multiply that times the amount of money that he got, I'd like you to tell me how much that is. So the book that he created was probably owed to us from all of the years of the amount of money that he actually did get from the city of Linden. And you tell me, basically, in the Linden Economic Development Corp that he was over, how much business did he bring in? Because even in hard economic times, he had the position of economic development, so you can't come with excuses when there's an economic downturn when you are the economic development officer. That's something that was his job. And if he wasn't able to produce at that time, then he needed to change his strategy. He may very well know this city well, but I believe that some of you up there know the city probably as well. I've lived here for 35 plus years. And believe me, property taxes and all of that, I've paid attention all those years, maybe to a smaller degree. But now I'm much more global. I'm more global because economically we've all been suffering.
1 minute,
all right,
please.
so I've spoken to that. Do I have time left?
1 minute.
1 minute.
Can I make a comment since...
Well, she has a minute to go. Could you hold it?
Because she's 100% wrong with that statement about Ron Stefanowitz. We are in the greatest recession. We are in the greatest recession since the Great Depression.
Mayor, I'd like for her to finish her comments.
I understand. I understand
And
that, but don't say I'm 100%
for you to
wrong,
say
Rich.
that he's not doing his job,
No, I
you
didn't
are
say that.
wrong.
I didn't say
Mayor,
that.
I'd like to
That's what you
for her to
heard.
finish the comments, and then I'll give you please,
I did not say that.
30 seconds.
And I think that people up here heard me. He took 30 seconds of my time. I want my 30 seconds back.
45.
Okay, thank you. Negotiated, right? Okay. What I would like to ask is for an update about the Linden Multi-Purpose Development Center, which my community was instrumental in having put into the city of Linden. I want to know, Rich Cosio, I believe you're the chair, and anyone else who would like to respond to the letter that I wrote to the city council, to each and every one of you, the mayor included, about the direction, the vision, and putting the Linden multipurpose back on track. Thank you, Councilwoman Rashana Hurley, for giving me a little bit of update, but I'm looking for much more than that.
Thank you.
We got your letter, I did get your letter, and we did speak at length one afternoon.
Yes.
We had a public properties meeting this past week. Mr. McDonald could not have been there because of an illness. We wished we could have discussed much more. Mr. Gary Luciano was there, and he spoke about the center. If you'd like, I could touch on probably 15 or 20 different items that we discussed. It's a little too lengthy to go into right now, and I don't have my notes with me, I want to be honest. I have everything on an electronic device here. We have minutes of the meeting that I took, and I could address the same way you asked me questions that day, which we talked about, having to do with a multitude of things,
Yes.
about activities, about personnel, everything that I was able to legally share with you, I did share with you. And I will reiterate the same thing I said to you, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm a committee chairperson. I'm a council person. I'm not the boss of any person, the director, any supervisor, and what we try to do is take in every bit of information and criteria. There may be some issues that people feel are happening there, good things, bad things, and different things, but everything will be addressed. I'll give you an example. Before that meeting, I reached out to Councilwoman Cosby Hurling. I know this building, like yourself, is very near and dear to her heart. And I said, Roshana, please give me, because through the month I was getting emails from her, and it would be an email after an email. I said, Roshana, do me a favor, please. With this meeting coming up in a day or two, can you give me a synopsis? And she was very diligent in giving me an Excel sheet of about 15 or 20 items which were addressed. Mr. Luciano did get back to me and her with answers, maybe not as complete as she would like or I would like, but answers as to what was getting done. There are some personality and some personnel issues going on there which are being dealt with. There are some money handling issues there that are being dealt and have been dealt with. And we're doing what we can in a positive way. If you'd like to get together with me, we can go over any specific item that you'd like to discuss, and I'd be happy to answer them as best I can.
May I respond?
No, your 5 minutes is up. I have the mayor that have response. Would you take a seat, please? Mr. Mayor? Have a comment?
I have no comment.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sharpie?
Well, congratulations on Linden getting a Wawa. Back to the library tax. I have parents and students coming up to me, asking me, why is the library closing 3 hours early on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and 2 Saturdays of the month that they can't do weekend book reports and turning it to their teachers? And I told them, well, and how the tax law is, the library tax. The governor said you only had to cut the minimum. So this city council and whoever said, well, no, we're going to take $75,000. We don't have kids in the school, so why should we have to worry about listening to our kids come home? Right? Why couldn't you just cut it half, 35, so we can keep those hours open? But no. These people don't care about the students in Linden. You know? Your mom comes home, Daddy, the library is closed. I can't do my book report. What's my teacher going to say Monday morning when the report ain't done? Whose fault is that? Each and every one of you. So let it go on your conscience.
Council President.
Councilwoman, you have a comment?
To Mr. Shabby's point about the library, I have children in the school system. Oh, you don't want to hear it? All right. So anyway, for the public, in addition to the library internet connection, you also have access to computers for the public at the LMPC, which is provided by the Communities in Cooperation. And they have regular hours up to 5:30 each weekday, and they're extended on Thursdays. So if your child does need to do a book report, I would encourage you to get the book in advance and not wait till the last minute. But then they can use the computers to type it up, and they can print them. And unlike the library, you don't need to pay 5 and 10 cents for the paper. So again, it's at the LMPC. There's a computer room there with internet access and printing access. And I love the children of Linden. That's why I do work so hard. And that's it. But he's not here to hear me.
Council President.
Mr. Brown, Councilman Brown.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to make it real clear, and I wish he was here. And Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, you're on the library board, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, and so so the public understands, is that we don't control the hours or the operations or the function of the library. That's up to the library board and you know, whoever's in charge as far as when it opens and closes and everything else. All we do is collect the taxes for them and give them that money. So again, the council has no control over the hours and, the day-to-day operations of the library.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Council President, if you allow me, I would just like to
Mr.
piggyback
Medina.
up on Councilman Brown.
Councilman Medina.
Mr. Shappy made a comment last month about me being the liaison for the public, for the library. Again, just like Councilman Brown just mentioned, we collect the taxes, we give them the money, and they spend it how they want to spend it, if I'm not mistaken. My first meeting at the public library as the liaison, again, I have no say-so on the liaison. I sit as with the public, I have no say-so. Some of the things that, I think they need a little bit of work. One of the first things they did without, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, without scoping the rest of the years, give themselves a raise. So there's a lot of things that went into why they're closing the library. I don't know why it wasn't said earlier, but that's one of the things that I observed in my first meetings and several other meetings on expenditures and whatnot. So I do love the children of Linden. I don't have any children myself, which I'm hopefully trying to start a family soon, but it is disturbing that our library is closing early and is not full service to the children of Linden. So I just wanted to put that out there. Again, I have no say-so in the library board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President, can I make a comment, please?
Yes, sir.
I think there's a lot of misinformation going around. The library board is individuals that volunteer their time and serve as city council to the library, of which I am part of, one of the members of 8. They dictate policy, and they do determine the hours based on recommendations by the director. Now, this governing body controls the purse strings, so they could allocate more money or less money, and the library board has to operate within that budget that's given to them by the city council. In regards to raises, again, the library board's all volunteers, they don't get paid. The raises were the raises for the staff of the London Library, which is the same contract that city employees have for 2013, and that expires December 31st of 2013. So they got the same 5-year contract that any other public employee did also. And the reason the hours were cut was because the library board did not want to be in the same boat that city council was in regards to the budget. They had the foresight to see that their budget was being drawn down quicker than they anticipated, and rather than have no money left and institute layoffs, they instead chose to cut the hours for the library.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Councilman Armstead?
As mentioned by some of the other council members, the library board, it is an autonomous body, and they do not have to answer to us, and that is true. But what I think that we should do as a governing body is perhaps we should, because of the importance of a library to our children throughout the whole city, I think it's important that as a governing body, we need to try to get together and see what it is that we can do to help them to increase their hours, because the library needs to be open as often as possible, because the children do need that facility. That's my remarks, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Colibus?
I just want on the record, as my chosen vocation as an educator, that I care about every child in the Linden Public School System. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Eleanor Gills. Guys, I apologize.
No problem.
5 minutes, please.
This will only take a moment. I'm concerned about the trash that I'm seeing in Linden. And I know we have you mentioned the recycle receptacle in the parks. Does anybody know how often they're being used? Are people actually utilizing the receptacles in the park? Michelle?
Mrs. Yamakotis?
Yes, Mrs. Giles. They are utilizing them, but what I witnessed at Dorothy Ford Park, we need to educate some more. The
Yeah.
recycling was ended up in the regular garbage, you know, and it's got clearly it's got the symbol on there, but I think we need
Yes,
to educate the
and-
public a little bit more what they are for, maybe put a sign on them, bottles and cans.
Yes, that's my, that was
Obviously,
my
some don't understand the sign.
My second concern, Councilwoman Yamakaitis, is that I think that we need to put a much larger label on the receptacles. I would like for people to be able to see it from their car, because they're throwing trash on the streets. You know, they're having their meal in their car, and then they just dump their trash right outside the park. And I live near the park, and since Linden has parks every few blocks, I'm sure you all live near parks. So some people feel as if that's a place to leave their garbage, as well as along the tracks, which our councilwoman gave us an opportunity to talk about that. And have some plans to perhaps get some of the neighbors involved and clean up. But I remember when I worked recreation many years ago, we often had poster contests to get the kids involved in litter, you know, preventing litter and that kind of thing. And I'm assuming that we're still doing that same kind of thing, are we?
They have an Earth Day.
Council President?
Councilwoman?
Yes,
Yamakaitis?
not, what they are doing is for Earth Day, they do like an environmental project with
We may
posters,
need
but
to
I think we need.
expand it. We may need to expand it
What I
because
would like to
Linden.
see,
Yes.
I would like to see maybe we focus on something more in town to deal with the litter. I see some towns have signs made up, you know, take pride, you know.
And we need to be doing more. We have to find a way because.
And you know what, if we went
this-
through the schools possibly to have a poster contest and make up the signs, it would draw more attention where the
Yes.
kids would understand, hey, you know, this was the winner of
Right.
this contest.
And some of the children will remind the adults.
Right.
But is it possible, and I'd like, you know, for our city fathers and mothers to think about this, is it possible that we could get really large signs on our receptacles so that they can see it from the street? That, you know, they know what that is and get it done. Put your garbage in the garbage can. We don't want our town to turn into a great big garbage can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Cosio?
Thank you. Mr. Giles, thank you very much. This is something I'm going to bring back to the Public Properties Committee. Just what Michelle was talking about before, I got a call from her or a text. This is going back about 2 weeks ago, and it was about St. Mark's, Dorothy Ford Park. And she mentioned something about there being some broken glass. I went over there. Now, the park is unique in that it's a large park. There's a lot of activities going on. The day that I was there was a football team practicing. There was what looked like a ladies' club on the other side. I forgot what street it is. I think it's Essex. And there were some tables there. They were having a meeting. And around the other side, it's shaped kind of like a U. There was the playground area. I went by that afternoon, and I texted Michelle. I said, I'm here. The park looks pristine. It was trimmed. It was cut. It was clean. The playground area was clean. I went back the next day, and it was a mess. Exactly what you said. Mr. Brown was very concerned about a house near his home where he takes his children. We've been having a lot of emails back and forth. Lawson Park, which happens to be in the first ward, but a lot of first and third ward people share the park. The park is in disrepair. I went to Noski Park, which is in my ward. That was in pretty good shape, along with Lexington Park. I visited a few parks to see what it was. And, you know, I took a lot of pictures. I spent a lot of time, and that just recently had the 2 receptacles put in. But you're absolutely right. What it comes down to is education. It's in people's habits where they finish a soda, they finish a juice, they finish a bag of chips, and what happens? Are they going to walk that 60 feet to throw it away? Most likely not. You're absolutely right, too. If somebody's eating in a car, am I going to get 30 feet and drop it in there? Probably not. If it's convenient, you're going to do it. And people have to take pride wherever they are and whoever they are. They have to take pride in their city and do that. But it comes down to, and the point I was trying to make, you know, we have people that come out, and our workforce is being diminished little by little, and we do have a crew. Mr. Fakiti, who was sitting in for Mr. McDonald the other night, did mention before he left, he said, you know, we have 2 individuals who go and visit all of our 36 park areas just about every day. Now, are they going in and doing a complete scrubbing of that park? No, but they're emptying out, they're making sure they're cleaning up broken glass, visible broken, but that's a lot of area, it's a lot of territory. So it comes down to an enforcement issue. This is what I saw. Did I see evidence of littering and certain other kinds of activity? Absolutely. But it comes down to people doing good things. There's some great people in Mr. Brown's neighborhood who, you know, I spoke to, and Mr. Brown himself, and they will go, and if they see something, as I will do, as I'm sure everybody would do, if you see a bottle, you see a piece of glass, you pick it up, you throw it away. Every little bit helps. But it comes down to enforcement. If this says the park closes at 9 or 10 o'clock, and if there's somebody in there at 11 or 12, you know, there's no activity going on, and there's probably going to be debris the next morning. But it's enforcement, number one, and it's an education, number two, and I think it will come. But these receptacles are very visible. They're as bright blue as you could possibly get, and I think in a lot of places that blue-green kind of look is a universal symbol for recycling. So I'm going to bring your thoughts. Thank you very much. I'll bring those to the director. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Sadowski.
Mrs. Giles, I'm agreeing with you. In the 6th Ward, we have Wheeler Park. It's not a city park, it's a county park. In there, we have a playground, basketball court, we have a skateboard park, and we have a beautiful soccer field.
And a pool.
We get people, from all over. And I go through it, and it depends. I go to the soccer field, they have the baskets there. Most of the time, there's nothing there. And then sometimes, you know, it's just, I guess, who do people come in. I go to the skateboard park. There's a little bit more trash, I hate to say, by the skateboard park than it is by the soccer field. Soccer field's a little closed. But I think basically throughout the whole city, I hate to say this, but people are slobs. I mean, I hate to use that term, but I mean, on my street, I live on Woodlawn, going by the highway, and I have cars slow down for that light on the highway, and when they're slowing down, out goes the coffee cup. They dump I think not only in the parks, but I think throughout the whole city, which I think we are starting on by the train station, is I think we have to educate the people, whether it's the children or adults too, that this is the city you live in, or this is the city you pass through. And let's leave it as clean before you go and after you go. But I agree with you. I think we have to do something. That's all. Thank you.
Councilman Armistead.
Yes, Mr. Giles, I do agree with you. And the real issue here is changing the culture in our town. I mean, there are people who just are, like Councilman Sadowski said, they're slobs. Now, how do we do that? I mean, you mentioned educating the youth in school and trying to teach them the importance of not littering, maybe through a poster contest. That's very good, and I think it works. But I think the other thing we should do, we have to engage our children, and we have to get them to participate. Like 2 months ago, we started Don't Drop It, Pick It Up campaign, and we started out in the 4th Ward, and we have kids from various groups. We have a Forever Fierce cheer group that came out. They met with us out in the park, out in your ward, Peter, Dobson Park, and they went out and they spent 2 hours just cleaning the park. Okay, we were scheduled to go down Linden. There's a couple of abandoned homes down there, and the city is unable to get to the property in time. So we're going to go down, and we're going to, with volunteers, Phil Colicchio, his basketball team, along with our group, is going to go down, and we're going to address those 2 properties. So basically, it takes people to get this thing done. We have to try to pick up the slack where the Department of DPW can't. The same way we have to help the police department when we see somebody committing a crime. We have to get on the phone. We have to be the eyes and the ears. The only way we're ever going to make Linden nice and clean is if we keep it clean, and if we, I'm not telling you to go out and confront people who you see littering, but just say, hey, pick that up. Do you live here? I mean, you don't come in front of my house and throw something down. I tell people, when I see people throwing garbage in front of my house, I tell them, pick it up. I'll even tell them, listen, there's no garbage. Throw it in the back of my truck if you're too lazy to take it to a garbage can. But we have to, as a community, as a city, take ownership of this issue and run with it and fix it ourselves. It's our problem. We can take care of it. All right.
Thank you. Councilman Brown.
Thank you. I'm glad everyone's comments here, as far as, seems like the council's on page that this is a problem. I know over the last 3 years I've been here, I resorted to taking pictures, whether it's at the train station or last council meeting, taking 96 pictures of the conditions in our parks and do it. And I'm hoping that the council can come together, just like we dealt with this whole budget issue, now addressing this litter issue. I think working together, we can address this. And Councilman Armstead has done it where he's gotten kids involved. I know, all these council members here have either gone to the parks, picked up trash, or gotten people involved. And what I like your idea, and this is my commitment to you, is seeing how we can fund, I guess, a cleaning litter campaign, whatever. Because now that I think about it, maybe proper signage and everything else like that we can do. When Councilwoman Cosby talks about those garbage cans that are in parks and also on Wood Avenue, what a lot of people don't know, and this is what I've been trying to do, is, again, that's not money that's coming out of your taxes, out of your current fund. That's grant money. We have a huge chunk of grant money, a couple of $100,000s that we have, that I'll check tomorrow to see if we can use some of that grant money, recycling money, to maybe do some type of Keep Linden Clean campaign or whatever, or get groups that, like that Councilman Armstead works with, to maybe pay some of these volunteers. And that helps out with the education part, And then from the enforcement part, I know Councilman Colesville has been working hard on addressing that, where, and I tell people, person who gives out the most tickets in the city, and everyone knows who she is. She was here a couple months ago, we talked about it. Well, that's some of her added responsibility now, is where she's able to give out tickets now, I believe. And so, my hope is that this issue will get resolved. I think personally it has been, where Councilman Colesville has been addressing it in his committee. Other council members have stepped up and cleaned parks. I've cleaned it. I carry a garbage bag in my car all the time, because when I go to Larson or I go to Dobson Park, I bring my kids. If I'm there, I just clean it up, because I believe if you have trash on the ground, more trash, come there. Coach Alvarez, he's been there with me, and he's talked to kids that are there and say, hey, when's a good day for you guys to come out here and help us clean up? So your points are very valid. A commitment from me is seeing how we can fund maybe a program like that.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Councilwoman Cosby Hurling.
Thank you. Councilman Brown, we do have funds in the recycling committee, and that is one of the things that we were looking at to enhance the program. The receptacles actually came out of the grant money. So we got the cans, which, I'm not trying to be funny, those aren't the cans that I had suggested. The cans I suggested had the white symbol, they were a little taller, and you can clearly see that they were for, but it's not my decision to make. I can only, make a recommendation. So we do have money, and the money goes to promote the program. So when you say that a poster contest or things like that, that's a good idea. If you're willing to take that and coordinate that. I'm just messing with you, Mrs. Giles. Besides the neighborhood cleanup, last month I did mention that through the engineering department, nonprofit organizations could get up to $300 to get a grant to clean the park. I also sent a note to the chairman and to the director. There is a Kaboom organization, and they have $750 per area for park maintenance. I haven't heard back yet. I said to them, if this is something that you think is worthy, I would pursue it and look into it even further, but I haven't heard anything. And I understand Mr. McDonald's, not well, but if you have someone under you or a designee, there has to be somebody, because there's no reason why, if one person is unavailable or on vacation, whatever it is, then nobody else can pick up and make a decision. So we have maybe a week or two left, but that's another $750. We can get Derek, the other children, and everybody that we have in the community. The children can get community service for this, and which is a requirement for graduating high school. You have the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, and they're willing to do it to get their community service patch. So it's not like we're not looking at it. We just can't do it all on our own, but the recycling committee definitely will look to get more educational materials out, even if we go and just shop for the baby books through the state, and give those to the children, because I promise you, my daughter will say, we don't litter. We had a neighbor kid with us, he put a can on the ground, and she lost her mind. Pick that up. You have to take care of where you live and where you love. So the children do remind the adults and, people who aren't from here, if you will, just to keep our neighborhood clean. So, but thank you for your comments.
Councilman Armstead.
Just one more quick thing. I know in the past, this Clean Communities grant that we get every year, a certain portion of it was being used to put on a program for the children at the lower levels to teach them about cleaning, recycling, and things that are very important. So that's quick.
Thank you, Mr. Armstead. Mr. Alvarez.
Yeah, you can use Clean Communities grant money you can use for that. Yeah, we've been using it for, I'm sorry, Mrs. Cosby was asking me if we could use the money for that. And we can use the Clean Communities money can be used, that grant money can be used because you're really educating children how to keep their community clean. So that grant money can be used, as it has been in the past. One of the things that we got away from this year, we normally hire children every year with the Clean Communities money. This year we didn't do it, which I didn't think was, I wasn't in agreement with, but I think that we should be hiring our children with this grant money because not only are you alleviating the workforce, you're helping the workforce here in town, you're also giving them a very important lesson as to how important it is to keep a park clean because they're the ones that are out there in that park and now they see that they're cleaning their own mess sometimes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. No more.
Sorry, Mr. Alvarez.
That's
I thought
okay.
he was done.
That was a small comment.
Real small.
I disagree with about the money, but Mr. Armstead is right about one thing. It's education. I'm a coach. I run the soccer program, and I tell my coaches, you don't leave until you clean up. It's not what you throw, but what you find. But I'm not here for that. I am here because last month I kind of left a little bit upset, and I was here a few years back about equality, about money. Now, everybody here knows that I work with kids, and I will never do anything to hurt kids or take anything away from kids. And most of you might not understand this, but I know Mr. Armstead well, because I'm here about equality, and you understand about equality, sir.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do, sir.
And inequality.
That's right. And you understand about equal for everybody.
Right.
And you understand that everybody's created equal.
Absolutely.
Where's my $15,000, sir? Because I see that one group of athletes got $15,000 and the other ones didn't. Now, I represent the soccer group, but you have wrestling, you have basketball, you have baseball. Nobody gets any money, but they do. Okay, now, I'm not saying take it away from them because I think that's wrong. It's for what's for the kids, I back it up 100%. But we don't get it. Okay, now let me tell you about the soccer club. 3 years ago, when you guys canceled Halloween because you guys had no money, but I'm sure they got $15,000, we took it upon ourselves to have Halloween. We have over 12,000 kids, which nobody paid for anything, and we gave them everything. We gave them the Halloween parade that you guys couldn't. When you guys need something and anybody approaches me, I approach the same parents, and they come through. And we never ask for anything. Okay, I'm always there with my parents, ready to help out. But this, sir, is inequality, and you agree with me. It's supposed to be equal for everybody. Don't interrupt me. You already took a few of my minutes. Okay, and I know what you're going to say. Absolutely. I know it.
Council is not to respond to the speaker's time.
Now you're interrupting me. Thank you. Okay, I know what you're going to say. You're going to do the typical Derek dance. Not my fault, everybody's fault. Let's do the Derek dance. Sir, let me finish. Let me finish. Okay, but it seems like it's very simple, especially when you were the finance chairman, to grab $15,000 and to give it to a group, which you happen to be a trustee. Don't interrupt me.
It happened before I became chairman.
I will listen to everything you say.
Not to respond to the speaker till he's done, please.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. All right, it's very simple. And I know $15,000 buys a lot of things. Helmets, pads, footballs, votes, okay, whatever is needed, okay? But equality. I like when you speak, sir. You speak very strong, very direct, but your actions don't match your words. Now, I could be wrong. And when I'm wrong, I will stand here in front of these people and I will apologize. Okay, so I will be back next month and you will prove me your actions because you will get me $15,000.
Can I respond?
Yes, sir. Your turn.
Excuse me, you done?
Oh,
Mr. Stafford?
sorry.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Let me be done.
I'm done.
You done?
Yes.
Could you take a seat, sir?
Mr. Armstead is going to answer, and I'm sure he'll want an answer back, or?
No, I don't want to answer back.
No?
I
Okay.
don't want to answer back.
I'll listen to
I'm not going to go tit for tat with you.
Yes, I'm done.
But I will tell you this.
Mr. Armstead, we got to maintain decorum here. You done?
Yes, I just want to listen to what he has to say.
Would you take a seat, sir?
Sure.
Well-
I'll listen.
There's no debate.
Well,
Mr. Armstead, do you have a comment?
Well, yes, I do have a comment.
Please.
First of all, we're comparing apples to oranges when you're comparing soccer to football in Linden. Football requires a lot more money for our equipment than it does soccer. Soccer, I think you need a T-shirt, maybe some shorts and some sneakers, and you could probably get by. And football, we have helmets, we have shoulder pads, and our helmets, believe it or not, have to be reconditioned every year, you know, because if a child is hurt and that helmet's not certified, then, you know, the organization's in a tremendous amount of trouble. We have to pay insurance, and a tremendous amount of insurance. Okay, now, again, I'm going to tell you, we're comparing apples to oranges, and let me tell you something. My involvement with Pop Warner came in a most obscure way, okay? Because I'll tell you what I did for Pop Warner, okay? My first year in Pop Warner, I had a fundraiser for them, okay? I raised money for them, and I helped with their expenses. I think it was $7,000 the first year that I raised for them, okay? And when I realized the organization was in trouble, instead of giving the money to the organization, I would write checks for what they needed, okay? Somehow, somebody in Central Jersey saw my name on one of those checks, and they were throwing Linden out of the league, out of the organization, and they said they would not allow Linden to play football unless the city would run the organization. Realizing that I didn't have the support of council or the city to run that organization, I pleaded with those gentlemen, and I said, listen, I can't get the city to take over this organization, but what I will do, I will give you some oversight. I gave them my word that I would have oversight of that organization. We got rid of all the coaches, the ones who were acting belligerent, and we replaced it with a complete new board. And at that time, I handed over the rest of the money to the new board. Now, in 2004, when I built my first house on Southwood Avenue and we sold it, guess what Derek Armstead did? We wrote a check for Pop Warner because God was good to me, and I felt like I was going to be good back to my community. In 2005, when I built my second house, guess what Derek Armstead did after I sold it? I wrote another check for Pop Warner. So, and as much as you say the city, I'm an advocate. Yes, these kids are from my community. When I played Pop Warner, they were from all over the city. So there's a love for football for number one, because I played in that organization years ago. So it has nothing to do with votes. It has everything to do with the gentlemen who are playing, the gentlemen who are coaching, what they teach at Pop Warner. I mean, so many of our young men who played Pop Warner football went on to play. When I look at the starting lineup at Linden High School, I see all the kids who played Pop Warner, and many of them go on to college. Okay, so it's a lot deeper than just giving $15,000 to an organization because I'm associated with it, you know. Truth be told, you know, I spent so much time at Pop Warner, my wife was asking me, what are you doing out there? You don't even have any kids playing out there, okay? My sons are of football age right now, and they're not playing this year, okay? But I still do whatever I can for Pop Warner, okay? Because it's an organization that I think adds value to our community. We have these, 250 children that are out there every night that we know where they're at. That program starts in August. It doesn't end until like early December. So we know where these kids are. They're housed in the park, and we know where they're at. And it is our intention to provide them with some sort of recreation as well as teaching, because we also have an academic wing to Pop Warner where you have to maintain a certain grade point average. So it's a lot deeper than that, okay? And now, as chairman of personnel and finance, no, I didn't get them their money their first year, no. I was not the chairman when they got money for Pop Warner, okay? You know, this council agreed that there should be money allocated to Pop Warner. Yes, I was an advocate for them, okay? And I will continue to be an advocate for them, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask
No, you don't
Gretchen
need to
Hickey
respond.
to come on up. No, 5 minutes, please.
Hi,
And I
Gretchen
ask the
Hickey,
council-
Inwood Road, Linden.
I'd like to ask the council members to refrain from any comments until you're done with your statement. Thank you.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to talk about what George was talking about. However, I do just feel that, you know, all of our children play different sports, whether it's golf, soccer, music, and in this day and time with economic hard times, I just feel that either one organization needs to get funding or all the organizations need to get funding. We all have trouble. My son plays golf. I know it's very expensive. It's a different story because my husband's a golfer. But, you know, either all sports need to get it and all the different programs need to get it, and it shouldn't just be pertained to one. And that would make all the problems go away, and nobody would be offended. Secondly, I'd just like to thank the mayor for his kind words. I didn't realize I wasn't getting paid, though, Mayor. But anyway, I'm so excited about September to Remember. We are going to have such a great day. I'm really looking forward to so many families, their friends. Please bring everyone out. Have your little Linden reunions here on Wood Avenue that day. Pray for sunshine. We have 5 bands lined up. We have Amici sponsoring a beer and wine lounge with the top security, of course. We have plenty of things for the kids to do. Many organizations from town have gotten their tables for free because they're nonprofit organizations to raise money. DECA, the soccer's making games. So many people have come out. And most of all, I am one to judge many times, and I've tried to put that aside a lot. The one thing I do have to thank is a lot of the departments in the city of Linden. When you're not around them and you're not near them, you know, you hear this one say this and this one say that. I gotta tell you, purchasing, amazing. Finance, amazing. Mayor's been wonderful. Recreation, I do have to give a special shout out to Tony Copland because I gotta tell you, I've been calling him in the morning, I've been calling him in the nighttime, from porta potties to cones to this, OEM in the police department. You know what? It didn't even happen yet, and I'm really grateful for everything that you've all done already. And I hope all the council members will be around that day. Show your faces, let the people know who you are, and show what a great thing we have in Linden. Because I got to tell you, if this year's good, next year's going to be absolutely incredible. Thanks.
Thank you, Gretchen. Councilman Armstead.
I just want to make one additional comment with regards to Pop Warner football, since Mrs. Hickey came to the mic. You know, we provide a service.
Would you keep it brief, Mr. Armstead?
In the city of Linden, we provide basketball, we provide baseball, we even have soccer leagues in the town. But the city does not have a football program. So basically, that $15,000 is like an investment because, you know, it's cheaper for us to give them $15,000 than to say, hey, let's do the same thing we do with the baseball, basketball, and soccer programs in this town, okay? Because the cost per child with football is excessive. I mean, it costs you approximately $125 a head to put a child out there on the field, okay? So basically, by us giving the $15,000, we're giving $15,000 because that's the one service, the one sport that the city doesn't provide. They provide baseball, they provide basketball, they provide soccer, but they don't provide football. Thank you.
Thank you. The following council meetings will be as follows. Council conference meeting Monday, October 14th at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall, 301 North Wood Avenue. Council conference meeting prior to the council meeting, Tuesday, October 15th, 2013 at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall, 301 North Wood Avenue. Council meeting Tuesday, October 15th, 2013 at 7 o'clock in the council chambers, City Hall. Special conference meeting Thursday, September 26, 2013 at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall, 301 North Wood Avenue. I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Make a motion. Second.
Mr. Colbus?
Yes.
Koziel?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Sheehy?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Good night.
our employees are running the program, so you got to put a dollar amount on that.